Is this the greatest compilation album of all time? 100% hits. The best of 96. Before we start this next song, and it has been considered one of the worst songs ever written, I've got to ask, who's ready to clap? Yes, track 4 on disc 2 of this compilation is I'll Be There For You by the Rembrandts. Originally released on May 23rd, 1995 in the United States, everyone knows this is the theme to the iconic sitcom Friends, which debuted just a year prior. I just want to say right off the bat, okay? And this is completely unscripted. I love this song so much, but I've always hated Friends. I don't like Friends. I don't think it's well written. I think they got lucky with the cast and the people behind the scenes. I do have to say, as a Friends hater, that loving this song is definitely something that broke my brain a long time ago. That's how good this song is. I think lyrically, musically, how it's arranged, how it's produced, it is a perfect pop song. And I think it's fascinating how this song ended up becoming the theme for one of the most memorable shows of all time, especially for the last 4 decades of popular culture, simply because it was originally developed for the show. The show's creators, David Crane and Marta Kaufman, people who helped create Friends, originally reached out to REM's Michael Stipe to get Shiny Happy People as the theme's show, and Stipe and REM said lol no. The show then had the song written specifically for the show. So Crane, Kaufman, and Grammy Award-winning songwriter Allie Willis, look her up, she is absolutely brilliant, R.I.P., wrote the song and are also credited on the song with the Rembrandts themselves. Now before the hit, the Rembrandts were originally a rock duo, Danny Wilde and Phil Solem. The two musicians had been working in pop and rock music for over 2 decades at this point, and through the 80s and 90s had a few hits. They even had their song Rollin' Down the Hill in Dumb and Dumber, but weirdly it's not on the soundtrack. I don't know what happened. Anyway, then in May of 1995, their LP dropped, and the song I'll Be There For You was on that album, and they had no idea how big the song or Friends was going to be. It was actually originally released as a B-side for their song This House Is Not a Home, and then by June of 1995, it was a #1 hit, and it stayed there for 8 weeks. Just to think about that, Friends had just finished their first season. They weren't even on the air at the time, and yet they had a #1 hit. Despite its huge success, Phil Solem spoke to the Chicago Tribune in June of 1995, stating that they didn't want to hang their success on a single TV series theme. And after seeing how big it got, both Wilde and Solem spoke with MTV News at the end of 1995 and openly apologized for the success of the song. However, they've reveled in its longevity. Obviously, they got over that and they still perform the song to this day. They performed it for the 25th anniversary on the Today Show, and they performed it for Netflix from when the show ended up on Netflix. God, this show sucks. I hate Friends so much. If no one told you that life was going to be this way, it does want to make you ask,